Hi, welcome to my video. I'm Bonnie Linke, a Stamping with Bonnie Lynn, an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. And this is my first YouTube video for Stamping with Bonnie Lynn. I'm not very experienced at this yet, so this should be fun. Okay, today I am going to show you how to make this card right here. It is with the Daffodil Daydream Bundle that I used, and it's also the Daffodil Afternoon Designer Series paper. These are new items that just came out on January 4th, yesterday, and they are in the January to June 2022 mini catalog. And then the paper is one of the items that you can receive free through the celebration time frame, which is the 4th of January through 28th of February of this year, 2022. And as you will see, when you place a $50 merchandise order, you get one free item. And there are different items in here. And the one we are using today is, I passed it. It's the Daffodil Afternoon 12 by 12 Designer Series paper. And this paper is gorgeous. I love it. We are using just one piece of it. And this is the reverse side of the one we're using. So there's so many things you can do even without having the bundle. If you place an order and this is the item you decide to get, you can do some beautiful cards with just doing a greeting on them. And another item that's in here that I want to do a video on sometime soon is the Awesome Otters stamp set. And oh, here it is. I was going to say I had that out. It's right here. These guys are so cute. I'm just waiting for one of the die frames to come that has these holes in it, because I want them poking out somehow. So we'll see what I come up with. But this is really a cute stamp set that you can choose free with a $50 merchandise order. And there's also some items in here, like this one right here. You get the Designer Series paper and the stamp set as a choice if you place a $100 merchandise order. So lots of opportunities to score some free items. And that's always fun to do. And the mini catalog, it's how many pages? 90 pages of just some really cool items. And it doesn't matter where you live, whether you live in the desert, you live in the mountains, you live on the ocean, there's something for everybody in this catalog. And it's good now through June 30th of 2022. Okay, so this is the card we're going to make. And this is the back of the envelope we're going to do. And this one is Happy Birthday, but I think today we're going to do a thank you card, because I need a thank you card. And this is the inside. Now the inside I colored with the Stampin' Blends. So what I'm going to do first is I am going to stamp this picture in Memento ink so that it has time to dry while I do everything else. So I'm just going to grab my Stamparatus, which is right here. Oh, I thought I had already put my stamp set on it, so I haven't. Okay, and I'm going to take my piece of white paper. Now the dimensions are on my block. This one is 5 1/4 by 4. Whoops, I need. Okay. And this is why I have a tape on my magnet, so it's easier to pick up. This is a clean stamp set. So I take my padding out of my Stamparatus so that I get a cleaner stamp. And I don't want it all the way up there, so I'm just going to go about this high. I'm going to close my Stamparatus, and it's going to go on right there. I know, I turned it upside down. I turn my Stamparatus all different ways when I'm using it. There's no rhyme or reason to what I do. But I tap the stamp with my black memento. And then with this, you just want to come along and press. And as you see, this is why I keep scratch paper under there so the extra ink can go on there when I go over. Now this looks good the way it was, but if it wasn't a clean picture, I could just take this and re-ink my stamp and stamp it again, which I'll show you, like so. And just rub it down. And there it is. The magnet holds my paper in place, and I always put my paper in the corner if I can, because that way, in case I bump it or something and it comes loose, I can push it back in the corner. But this is a really strong magnet, so it doesn't happen. I'm going to use my pick, and I'm going to pick that up, and I'm just going to set this over. I will clean my stamp in a little bit. Okay, so I'm just going to set this aside along with my memento ink. I don't need it anymore. Okay, this is the stamp set, Daffodil Daydreams. So you got 2 gorgeous flowers and a butterfly, all that you can color. And I keep my stamps. I just take them, and with the sayings that we can put on them, it just sticks there perfectly. And then I have my die cuts right here. I always put my die cuts on a magnet, and if there's room to fit them in the stamp set, I'll put the magnet sheet in here. This one had too many framelits, so I was not able to do that. And I put a tag on which catalog they're from, what it is, and how many pieces. And when I'm finished, I count, make sure all the pieces are there so that I don't lose anything. Now you'll notice on this, they give you, these are your leaves. They give you 2 of them, and each leaf goes a separate way. They give you 2 stems. These are the framelits for your flowers that you color. And then these are all for the pieces you put together. And this is what I did. These are the pieces we're going to put together for the card. So what I do is I bring in my rubber stamp pad. And oh, I wanted you to see all the leaves and stems I cut out too. I'm not going to use all of them on this. I just happen to cut out some extras. And the thing is, I can put them in my stamp case and have them already cut for next time. I just take my glue, put it on there. And let's see, there is a way that this fits best on here, which I've already discovered. So play around with it some before you glue anything down to figure out which way you like it best. And then I just glue all the pieces together. And if you don't like gluing, Stampin' Up! Does sell the adhesive sheets, which is this pack here. And here's one right here. You can put this on the back of the cardstock. It says peel here. You just peel this off and you put it on the back of the cardstock right here. And then you cut it out, and when you go to put it on, you just cut the peel this back piece off, and it will stick to what you put it on. It's really nice to do with fine, delicate dies. I did not mind doing the glue with this set because the pieces are big enough to do that. So, and I happened, by magic, to have all my pieces glued together. So we will, you guys don't want to watch me glue all these pieces together. It's boring. I got to put my pin back in here before it closes up. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to move this off to the side. I am going to keep my stems and my leaves. And I'm just going to move that off. Okay. Okay, this is for the envelope. We'll set that aside. I'm using mint macaroon. The card that I showed you was in old olive, but this one I'm going to do in mint macaroon. And I'm going to take it, and with the mountain on the inside, I'm going to take it and close it. And I'm going to use my bone folder just to give it a good crease. The pale papaya I'm going to use for my saying. This is the piece of Daffodil Afternoon Delight, or Afternoon Designer Series paper that I'm going to glue on here. There's not really, I kept looking at it, trying to decide, is there a top and a bottom that you can tell? I cannot tell if there is or not. You'll see here, there's a point there, but there's a point there. So I think you could use this either way and you're okay. So it's up to your preference. This here is what I cut my stems out of and the leaves. This is the Designer Series paper from Beauty of the Earth Designer Series paper. I just love this. It already gives it some texture and movement to the leaves. Here's the one out of this piece, and this is the one out of this bottom piece. And I like it more than just the green cardstock. But if you use just cardstock, you could take your blender pens, or you could take a sponge in your ink pad and just add some color to it to give it more movement. So we'll set that aside. Okay, so we're going to take and we're going to tape the Designer Series paper onto the cardstock. Now everybody has their favorite adhesive. Mine happens to be tear and tape. And I've already put it on here, so I'm just going to take my pick to get it going. I also like to use the Stampin' Seal. I will use glue, as you will see on the envelope, but glue is not one of my favorite adhesives because I tend to make too many mistakes, and there's one thing you can't do with glue is pull it back up. There we go. Okay, but there is always a reason for using glue, and one of them is to put these together. Now I could use my glue dots if I wanted to glue this, to put it together, which I think I will. I love the glue dots. Let's see. And I will put a couple on here. Then you just offset the petals. And I will use glue for this though. I'm just going to cover up the petal in the back. Try to get that. Okay, and then I'm going to take this one here, and you can do this however you want to, but I think I'm going to put this in back. just find how you like it. I want to be able to see the petals, so there we go. I'll go like that. And I'll take my center. I think I'll put it over on the side, like so. All right. And then I have my stems. Okay, now these little buds, you just want to glue the stem on there. So I just put it right on the yellow part that is left showing. There we go. I get more glue on me. That's why I'm not a big glue fan. And I'm going to do one more of the buds on a stem. Oh, I forgot to tell you. You might want to lay this out ahead of time before you, well, at least before you put it down on the designer series paper to decide what you want. And I'll put that, I think I may put that one lower. Okay, and I'm gonna put, and I'm not even looking at, whoops, that's a short stem. Okay, I can do that. I've already cut, when I was cutting these out, I didn't have enough paper length for one of these, so I cut it short. But what I'll do is I'll cover that up with a long leaf so you don't see it, kind of like so. You just play around. Keep it on the paper though. And I like the designer paper so much that I made it as big as I can so I can just see a small little frame of the other. And then I think I'll put that there like so. And I'll put that. Let's see. Okay, I don't have a short. I'll put that one there like that. I think I want another leaf in there where I know these are supposed, I can have that come like so. Okay, so I think I know what I want. So I'm going to put this down first, and I'm just going to put some glue on it. You can go ahead and probably use maybe about 3 glue dots if you want to make it stick. And the glue, my glue dries clear, so I'm not worried about it. Now I normally use the green glue that Stampin' Up sells, but I was all out of it, and this is what I had on hand. This also has the thin tip, which I really like. There we go. Set that like so, and I think I may even do another extra little stem on this one. Or leaf, the stem on. And down lower, and I'll just take my paper snips and cut it off. Okay, and I need a leaf. Now see, I don't mind if they're loose some. That doesn't bother me at all, because when I mail my cards, I put a piece of paper in front of it, and that way when it goes through the meter at the post office, there is no problems with it getting stuck or anything. It's more of a flat surface. There we go. All right. Okay, and then I'm just gonna glue this one on. Put it right about there. And I'm gonna take this one. Oh, I used a dimensional on the other card I showed you. But I didn't do that today. And then this, I'll use a glue dot for this one. I am going to put this one just so it comes out from behind the flower like so. All right. Isn't that pretty? Okay, so we'll move that aside. Now what I want to do is I want to color my picture. So we are going to use Daffodil Delight Stampin' Blends, and we're going to use Old Olive. I'm just going to take and I'm going to color my leaves. This is the light one right now. So I'm just going to color my leaves. Like so. And now I'm going to take my dark and I'm just going to, whoops, wrong it. Oh, no, that's right in. Just bring it up some and get it underneath because it's more of a shadow. Okay, and then I'm just going to take my light one a little bit over the dark area just to add, blend it in some. Now this was basic white cardstock I used. And I forgot to tell you, for the flowers I used Daffodil Delight and I used Crushed Curry. Okay, so my leaves are all colored. Now I am also going to do the same with my flowers. I'm just going to color them in with the light Daffodil Delight. I think what would be fun too is if you used the Calypso Coral or Flirty Flamingo on these flowers. I think that would be so pretty. Okay, and I want to make this part here a little bit darker. I think I'll make it all the way dark. And then I want to put some streaks along those lines of the dark Daffodil Delight. Just like so. And then if you want to, you can take your light again and just blend it in, but be careful you don't color the whole thing. There you go. And then I'll take my tear and tape, or, you know, this time, oh, whoops, you don't know what I just did. I'll use this, whoops, would help if I took the cover off. Okay, let's see. Okay, and if you use your rubber silicone mat to just get it started, it works much better. And you can't see me do that. Okay. I'm going to take this. And this is, as I said, 4 by 5 1/4. I'm just going to set it down in there. And then I'm going to take, as I said, I wanted to make this a thank you card. I'm going to take my thank you from the Plentiful Plant stamp set. I'm going to put it on my block. I'm going to use Old Olive ink. Now, because this is the photopolymer, I normally use the Stampin' Pierce mat to stamp on, to give it some cushion, to get a better stamp. And I normally have a piece of scrap that I stamp on, but this is all I had, so hopefully I set that on there right. Okay, and then I am using the Tasteful label stamp set, which is right here, and I'm using this label right here to cut out, and I use the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine to do that. But by the power of being prepared, I have one that's in mint macaroon that will be fine to use. So I'll just take this and that's my dimensionals. I'll add 3 dimensionals to it. And then there's a little, I don't know how, piece of my stem got caught right there. So I'm just going to place this over here, offset it to the side, and hope it's straight, and just put it on like that. And then I'm going to take my brush butterflies. These are new in the mini catalog, and they are so cute. So I'm just going to take 2 of the tiny ones, and I'll take one of the big ones too. And I'm just going to put that one up there on the top of the leaf. And there we go. That is the Daffodil Daydream Bundle card. And I did not do the envelope to show you how to do that. Okay, to do the envelope, I took a standard envelope that we use. Now I'm going to put some glue on the back flap of the envelope and get it up high. I normally put it, I put it on the paper the other day, and it just made, I like better putting it on the flap. So you just want to get it so it's down at the bottom of the flap. And the nice thing about glue versus tape is that it moves around. So I get that even down there and set it down. Then I'm going to take my snips. And you could even take your cutter if you're that fanatic, which I am not. And there we go. My envelope is decorated. If I wanted to, I could put the stamp up here and color it in. But if I did that, I would want to make sure I put a piece of paper in here to absorb the ink so that it didn't leak through. And one thing I forgot to tell you when I was coloring with the stamping blends, you will want to use a solid surface underneath it. Do not put paper behind it. If you put paper behind your paper when you're coloring, it makes the ink absorb in the underneath paper so much faster, and it doesn't give you the time to blend if you're after a blending effect. So there we go. There's our card, and there is our envelope to match. Okay, in the host code, if you should decide to place an order, the host code for January is right here. I would appreciate it if you would use me as your demonstrator, and if you would put the host code on your order. Any order of $50 merchandise or more after the end of the month, after I close out the month, I will send you some type of free gift, probably some dimensionals, as a thank you from me. I appreciate your business. Also, if on the video you could give it a thumbs up, that way YouTube will see that you like it, and they will help me keep the video costs at no charge for posting them. Thank you very much. I'm Bonnie Linke with Stamping with Bonnie Lynn, your independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Happy stamping.